What's up guys, Chigs there from Chigs Tech Reviews. So today I bring you another ultimate head-to-head showdown between two flagship smartphones. We have Xiaomi's Mi 11 versus Oppo's Find X3 Pro. Now this is an extreme head-to-head comparison, and we will be comparing everything from the sensors, the screen, the build quality and lots more. Now the Xiaomi Mi 11 is priced £749 and the Oppo Find X3 Pro is priced £1099. So Find X3 Pro is £350 extra, but how much better of a smartphone is it when compared to the Mi 11, and what does that extra £350 get you? Well, we shall certainly find out by the end of this video. So once again, I bring you a football match style comparison just for fun, and I actually have no idea who is going to win this comparison until I get to the end of the video, so it's just as much of a surprise to me as it is for you guys. So let's get started with the first round, which is box and accessories. And here are the contents of both boxes. So both phones come with a user manual and SIM eject tool, chargers, USB-A to USB-C cables, and even a silicone case in both. So Mi 11 has a clear case and the Oppo Find X3 Pro comes with this blue colored silicone case. The Find X3 Pro actually comes with an extra accessory which you don't get with the Mi 11, and that is a pair of USB Type-C headphones. So I nearly missed that, it was right at the bottom of the box. So you do get a pair of headphones, USB-C, and the Mi 11 doesn't come with any headphones at all. And they both come with fast chargers included in the box. The Mi 11 comes with a 55-watt charger, and the Oppo Find X3 Pro comes with a 65-volt Super VOOC charger. So who gets the point for this first round? Well, considering you have an extra and useful accessory here, a USB Type-C pair of headphones and a faster charging brick, it looks like the first point goes to the Oppo Find X3 Pro. So the current score is 0-1. So next up we are talking about the design and build quality. So first of all, the Xiaomi Mi 11 is made from Gorilla Glass Victus, that's Gorilla Glass 7, both front and back, with an aluminium frame going all the way around. The color is blue and we have a two-tone effect going on. Interesting camera bump with a silver border. The phone is for sure premium in quality, and it's also not much of a fingerprint magnet either. Now the Oppo Find X3 Pro also has a metal frame and a glass back. The color is also blue, but a darker tone than the Mi 11. And design wise, I really do like how they raised the camera bump with no edges at all. So smooth matte finish, and it blends into the camera bump. So you cannot feel the raised edge, and again, no fingerprints. And I'll just show you in comparison the camera bump where you can feel the edge, and on the Oppo you can't feel the edge at all. So a very unique design, and I really do like it. Now both smartphones are very slim and light. The Oppo Find X3 Pro is 8.2mm and it weighs only 193 grams. The Mi 11 is 8.1mm and weighs 196 grams. Now the Find X3 Pro has an IP68 rating, and the Mi 11 does not have an IP rating, although I believe it is splash proof. So both very slim and light, very premium in design. They both feel great in the hands and are equally well designed. So it looks like I'm giving a point each to both, bringing our scores to 1-2. Now let's talk about the screens. So the Mi 11 on the left has a 6.81-inch AMOLED display, and the Oppo Find X3 Pro has a 6.7-inch AMOLED display. Now both screens are WQHD Plus with 120Hz refresh. The Mi 11 has a screen resolution of 3200 by 1440, and the Find X3 Pro has a 3216 by 1440 display resolution. Now you do have Google Widevine Level 1 support on both of these smartphones, which means you've got Netflix HD support on both. The Mi 11 will give you the latest Gorilla Glass 7 Victus, and the Find X3 Pro has Gorilla Glass 5. Now if we talk about screen brightness, the Mi 11 has a peak brightness of 1500 nits and the Find X3 Pro has a peak brightness of 1300 nits. So both displays look impressive in practical use. Nice, bright, large displays with great colors and contrasts. You've got full screen displays with hole punch camera located in the same location, top left, and both phones have an in-display fingerprint sensor, although I feel the Oppo is slightly faster in unlocking and also slightly more reliable. So the same screen tech on both, same refresh rates, both super smooth in operation. So both smartphones give you the option to switch the resolution down to 1080p, and you can also select the refresh rate between 60 and 120 Hz. So that means a point each for screen quality. So after round 3, the current score is 2-3 and Oppo is currently leading the race. And the next category is processing power. Both smartphones are powered by the Snapdragon 888 chipset. The Mi 11 has 8 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage, but you can also pick up the Mi 11 in an 8+256 variant for an extra 50 quid. Now on the other hand, the Oppo Find X3 Pro comes with 12 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM and 256 gigs storage with no other variant available. Also, both smartphones are dual SIM 5G with Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2, and neither phones have micro SD expansion. So both phones will give you a flagship gaming performance. So you can play Call of Duty Mobile on very high with frame rate set to max, and you can do that on both of these smartphones. So the game plays super smooth as expected from the Snapdragon 888 chipset. So who gets the point for this round? Well, we are going to have to turn to the benchmarks for this one, as it is a close call. So the extra RAM in the Find X3 Pro could be the difference maker here. Therefore, and to do benchmark results, Xiaomi Mi 11 versus Oppo Find X3 Pro. So as you can see, the Mi 11 has achieved 791K and the Find X3 Pro has achieved 765K. So even with less RAM, the Mi 11 actually achieved a slightly better benchmark score than the Find X3 Pro, and it looks like the higher UX score or user experience score has led to this result. So Mi 11 takes it past the last defender and shoots straight into the top corner, bringing our score to 3-3. So next category, sustaining real-time performance. So the more you use a device, the temperature gradually increases, affecting performance. So to test this, I ran 3 back-to-back Antutu benchmark tests on each device and checking the system temperatures after every test to see if it can sustain its performance and not overheat when being pushed. So here are the results for both devices. So it looks like the Mi 11 achieved a better benchmark result in all 3 tests. However, the Mi 11 also got hotter after each test, and you can see the slight drop in performance after 3 tests. The Find X3 Pro, on the other hand, achieved a lower benchmark score on each test, but the phone managed to keep cooler when compared to the Mi 11, but the drop in performance was greater than the Mi 11. So it looks like Mi 11 scores a goal from a free kick just outside the box, bringing our scores to 4-3. So Mi 11 has pushed ahead, and what's going to happen next, I have no idea. So now let's check out the internal disk speeds. Both phones support UFS 3.1. The Mi 11 has 128 gigs of internal storage and the Find X3 Pro has 256. So here are the results. The Mi 11 has achieved read speeds of 1.1 gigabytes per second and write speeds of 294 megabytes per second. And the Find X3 Pro has achieved read speeds of 1.2 gigabytes per second and write speeds of 679 megabytes per second. So higher the results, better the performance of the internal storage. Fast internal storage means you can transfer files to and from the device much quicker, and it also gives a boost to the device when opening and closing apps and installing and downloading stuff. So it looks like Oppo was awarded a penalty, smashed it past the keeper into the back of the net, bringing our score to 4-4. So things are getting quite heated on the pitch, and we still have some categories left. So let's see what happens. So the next category is System OS. So Mi 11 is running Android 11 with MIUI 12 on top, and the Find X3 Pro is also running Android 11, but you have the ColorOS 11.2 on top. Now MIUI 12 has a number of visual improvements such as dark mode, improved privacy and security, new animations, new wallpapers, the app drawer is finally here, and you also have an iOS style control center, floating windows, and lots more. Now the main highlight of ColorOS 11.2 is the vast number of personalization options. So icon style, app layout, fingerprint styles, colors, notification drawer styles, all can be changed, along with brand new always on display designs and a very cool customizable edge lighting when you receive a notification. So both OSs have lots to offer and work very well, with more or less no bloatware apps included, giving a great overall user experience. Now choosing one over the other is definitely subjective to our personal tastes. I've used both and neither stood out from each other. Both have their advantages. Both are great OSs offering lots of features and customization options, meaning they get a point each. So current score is 5-5. Now let's talk about the cameras. Now this could be a game-changing category. The Mi 11 has a triple camera setup, and the Find X3 Pro has a quad camera setup. The Mi 11 has a 108 megapixel main camera by Samsung. There is also a 13 megapixel ultra wide and a 5 megapixel macro. The Find X3 Pro has a 50 megapixel primary Sony sensor, and it's the Sony IMX766. And they also added another 50 megapixel sensor for the ultra wide, and that is also the IMX766, but it's used as an ultra wide. And you also have a 13 megapixel telephoto, and something new guys, a 3 megapixel microscope sensor. And for our selfies, the Mi 11 has a 20 megapixel front camera, and the Find X3 Pro has a 32 megapixel camera. Now, as expected, both phones have a whole host of camera features, including optical image stabilization for smooth looking video, but the Mi 11 supports up to 8K video recording, and the Find X3 Pro supports 4K. Now on paper, they both look pretty good, but which one produces the better results? Well, let's just test out the main, most commonly used sensors for photos, videos, and selfies, and see which one actually performs better. So first up, comparing the primary sensors, the Mi 11's 108 megapixel versus the Find X3 Pro's 50 megapixel primary. So side-by-side comparison, you can see pretty detailed shots here, slightly better dynamic range in the Oppo's camera. I'm also finding that the overall image quality seems to be slightly more detailed with a better contrast in the Oppo shots. Also, when shooting in the big megapixel mode, you can zoom right into the photo without any loss of detail. But I'm still finding that the Oppo has achieved better results even when zooming in. Now let's also test out a few shots in standard photo mode. So Find X3 Pro takes 12.5 megapixel photos via pixel binning, and the Mi 11 takes 27 megapixel photos via pixel binning. And side by side, both shots look very good. Once again, better dynamic range in the Oppo. You can see that extra detail in the clouds. And looking at the grass, the Oppo has added some extra color to that green, but the Mi 11 is more color accurate. But I'm still liking the overall result and detail of the Oppo when compared to the Mi 11. And as a bonus, here are two wide angle shots for you to compare for yourselves. Do let me know which one you think is better. So now we are checking out some 4K at 60 FPS video footage. Now the Oppo just looks super buttery smooth. The Mi 11 looks slightly cropped in comparison, but in actual fact the Oppo just has a wider lens. So definitely preferring the video quality on the Oppo. And finally, selfies, 20 megapixel versus 32 megapixel on the Oppo, and straight away I'm preferring the results on the Oppo. They look more natural, but also better detail and handling of that dynamic range. Both regular and portrait mode looks better on the Oppo. Now, I know there are many other features for the camera we could compare to get a more definitive winner. Both have many modes and features to play around with, but I just wanted to test the most commonly used sensors for photos, videos, and selfies. And as a result, it looks like Oppo's striker headers the ball into the back of the net from a corner kick, bringing our score to 5-6. All right, next category, the sounds. Now both smartphones have Bluetooth 5.2, built-in NFC, Wi-Fi 6, and they both support dual 5G SIMs. However, there are no audio jacks on either smartphone. The Mi 11 has stereo speakers supporting high-res audio tuned by Harman Kardon. So you have one speaker at the bottom and you've got one top firing speaker. Find X3 Pro also has stereo speakers, but this supports Dolby Atmos sound. So again, we have a speaker at the bottom side firing, and we have another speaker on the earpiece up firing. So let's just do a quick sound test. So both devices have very good, clear and loud stereo speakers. In fact, the Mi 11 sounds slightly louder than the Oppo Find X3 Pro, but I feel the actual audio quality is better on the Oppo. And if you like watching movies on your smartphone, then the Oppo Find X3 Pro supports Dolby Atmos sound and will give you an incredible immersive experience. So it looks like Oppo takes this round with this superior sound, bringing our score to 5-7. Okay, so next category, battery life and fast charging. Now, the Mi 11 has a 4,600 milliamp hour battery and it supports 55 watt fast charging. It takes around 50 minutes to get from 0 to 100%, and the Mi 11 also supports 50 watt wireless charging, which is quite convenient. Now on the other hand, the Oppo Find X3 Pro has a 4,500 milliamp hour battery and it supports 65 watt fast charging, and it takes only 40 minutes to get from 0 to 100%, and this phone also supports 30 watts wireless charging. So battery life is decent in both smartphones. With normal to medium usage, you can easily achieve a day's battery. However, with heavy usage, with lots of gaming and camera usage, you can expect around 12 hours from the Find X3 Pro and just around 7 to 8 hours from the Mi 11. So that means the Oppo Find X3 Pro scores a goal in the 90th minute, but has it done enough to win this match? Well, I think it has. Final score 8-5 to Oppo. So there you have it, guys. That was my head-to-head comparison between the Xiaomi Mi 11 versus the Oppo Find X3 Pro, covering everything from the box design, screen, specs, performance, cameras, and lots more. So interesting results. The winner is of course the Oppo Find X3 Pro, and here is the breakdown on screen so you can see how they both scored throughout. Now Mi 11 is one of my favorite smartphones of this year. It just offers impressive value, great user experience with a better overall system performance and the best 8K video recording we have ever seen on a smartphone to date, and it's actually better 8K recording than the Samsung Galaxy Ultra. Now the Oppo Find X3 Pro is just a superior smartphone. Better camera, better video, better selfies, faster charging, faster internal disk speeds, incredible microscope camera, which I nearly forgot to show you guys. And so here are a few samples of me microscoping everything I can get my hands on. And if all that was not enough, you have great sounding Dolby Atmos speakers, IP68 rating, and a beautifully designed smartphone. That back design is so unique and nice, feels so good in the hands. Definitely want to see more brands produce quality like this. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with the scores? If not, how have you guys scored it? Do let me know in the comments. Which phone would you go for and why? And with that being said, I hope you found this video useful. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a brilliant day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.